I'm Malachi and welcome to my YouTube channel. If it's not already obvious, I'm pretty new to YouTube. This is my first video. And I promise we will get to the SmartSchoolBoy9 content. I just want to quickly say a few things. Obviously, since I'm new to YouTube, there's probably going to be a few mistakes, whether it's with editing or if the lighting looks weird. I apologize in advance. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I'm winging it. I have had YouTube channels in the past. One of them I actually got to like 1k subscribers, but that was a cosplay channel and we're not going to talk about that. You guys aren't here for that. Also, if you can hear like any strange noises in the background, I have a dog and he doesn't keep still. This is Casper. Casper, say hello! Don't eat the microphone. He's 1 year old, he's a capuchon, and he tries to eat everything. I also have a budgie. His name's Arlo. He just doesn't like hands, so I can't show you him. But anyway. Oh, I'm so- hello! You want attention. If Casper keeps appearing and reappearing in the video, I apologize, but I doubt anyone's going to be bothered by that, because who doesn't love dogs? Psychopaths, that's who. Probably people like SmartSchoolBoy9. Speaking of which, let's get to SmartSchoolBoy9, shall we? So the first theory I want to debunk is that David is behind the disappearance of Andrew Gosden. And yeah, this is actually a thing that people believe, or at least believe to some extent. This Discord user says, why are there so many child disappearances and attacks on children in Yorkshire? I've seen 3 cases so far, 1 murder, 2 disappearances, and they still haven't been found. Murder solved, but... In reply, someone else says, wasn't SSB9 from Yorkshire at some point? Yes, he lives there. All I'm going to say is that men are usually the issue. She ain't wrong. The other girl disappeared near Yorkshire. Charlene Downs and Andrew Gosden. And maybe there's something here. I'm looking into it. The missing posters are kind of scary and sad. So, there aren't any solid culprits that have been found up to now. No, people are interrogated, but no criminals were caught. I really hate this theory because it's so insensitive. And like what people say in reply is so insensitive. Like this one person here says in reply, can't imagine how their families must have felt. They are 100% most likely dead. Girl, you don't say that shit. Whether it's obvious or not, you don't say that shit. Especially in a public Discord server, you don't know who's in there. Maybe I'm overreacting, but that's just my take. Now, before I get into Andrew, I do just want to quickly mention that this person also mentioned Charlene Downs, and the reason why I'm not going to mention her is because she didn't disappear in Yorkshire. She disappeared in Blackpool, and Blackpool is like on the other side of the UK compared to Yorkshire, so I don't even know why she brought Charlene Downs into it. Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Charlene Downs disappeared on November 1st, 2003 when she was 14 from her hometown of Blackpool. Not Yorkshire. David didn't do it. Why even bring him up? This TikTok user says, what if Schoolboy9 took Andrew Gosden? Just think about it. Andrew lived in Doncaster at the time and he went to London on the train, and Schoolboy9 travels between Doncaster and London. Especially apparently him being around since the 90s, and Andrew disappeared in 2007, so they almost must have lived really close to each other. Listen, I don't know how big Doncaster is, but I think it's pretty big from what I remember. I don't know, I'm not really familiar with Doncaster, but just because they both live in Doncaster doesn't mean it's highly likely that they live near each other, like... Huh? I think it's a bit of a shit theory, to be honest. Now, someone shared that TikTok to Reddit, and thankfully people in the replies had some brain cells. One of the replies says, it's disrespectful to Andrew and his family. OP says, that is really true, honestly. Someone else responded with, how? Like, honestly, internet sleuths have solved crimes that cops couldn't in the past. What is the harm in looking into it? Which, yes, I agree, but it's just extremely unlikely that David had anything to do with it. And here's why I think that is extremely unlikely and how I'm going to debunk this. Andrew went missing from London in 2007, September 14th, 2007. Yes, David lived in Doncaster in 2007. He lived in Doncaster. Not London, Doncaster. Andrew went missing in London, not Doncaster. And I don't really know if you guys know how expensive train tickets are over here, but it's not cheap to get a train ticket to London, especially where I'm from. But where Andrew's from, today anyway, it'd be roughly about 50 to 60 quid for a single ticket. For a return ticket, it would be about like 88 to 92 quid, roughly. I mean, these prices are changing all the time and they just never get any cheaper. Now, I don't know how much train tickets cost back in the day, but I can't see them being much cheaper than that. I mean, I was 6 in 2007, so like take that little bit of information with a grain of salt. It could have been miles cheaper, I don't know. The vital piece of information here is that Andrew specifically bought a one-way ticket. He didn't buy a return. A return would have been cheaper than buying 2 one-way tickets, one to London and one back to Doncaster. Was he planning to return home? I don't know. But that's the big question, because why buy a one-way ticket? Was he planning on going home? There have been instances in the past where I've gone to places, got a single ticket, and then bought a single ticket back later. It could have been possible that he was going to do that, and that was the plan, but things just unfortunately didn't go to plan for him. So yeah, I highly doubt that David would have lured Andrew all the way to London and then bought one of those tickets himself and done it there. Like, if he was going to kidnap someone, wouldn't he just do it in Doncaster? I think you guys are giving him a bit too much credit for that one. Not to mention, this guy's on benefits, and like I said, again, train tickets are expensive, and I don't think someone on benefits is going to want to spend money on a train ticket to London. They're expensive, man. Or at least I think they are. I don't know. Some people might think they're not that bad, but I think they're expensive. The next theory, another insensitive theory that annoys me beyond belief, is that David is responsible for the kidnapping and murder of Leanne Tiernan. This TikTok right here is what brought my attention to this theory. It says, SmartSchoolBoy9 might be a killer. This girl was killed in Doncaster in 2001. David Alter has been living in Doncaster for 30 years. The last thing she was seen wearing was her school uniform and black boots. But the thing is, the murderer had taken her boots, possibly as a trophy. David seems to have an obsession with dressing up as a schoolgirl, as seen in every single video he has made, and has an obsession with black boots. And then someone posted a screenshot of a TikTok with the same theory onto Reddit and put, he might have actually murdered someone. In Yorkshire 2001, there is an unsolved murder case of a young blonde white girl. Fits one of the Stephanie descriptions. The reason this one stands out is because this girl wore a blue school uniform, and guess what? She was seen alive that day wearing black boots. She was not wearing these when she was found. By the way, I don't know if that's true or false. I haven't actually looked into this case, but there is a reason for that, and we will get to that. I don't actually have to look into the case fully to know that he is not behind it, but again, I will get to that in a minute. Another thing I want to add, as this may be far-fetched in general, cause of death was strangulation, with usually... well, that's a typo. Which usually turns people white or blue upon death. SmartSchoolBoy9 seems to be obsessed with white face paint and making weird gargling noises with his tongue, a noise sometimes heard in strangulation deaths. The girl was reported to have died in Yorkshire 2001. Now, the reason why I didn't really look into this case to confirm whether or not this is false is because a quick little tiny Google search will immediately tell you that this case is solved. They caught the killer, the same person that kidnapped her. And it is not David, it is not SmartSchoolBoy9. The man that murdered Leanne Tiernan was John Taylor, and he is currently serving time. He got a minimum of 30 years for the murder and kidnapping of Leanne. And he has now been told, I think it was back in 2018, he was told that he would be spending the rest of his life behind bars for other convictions that he was found guilty of. I need to read the notes for this because I can't memorize it. So yeah, in 2018, the then 62-year-old was told he would spend the rest of his life in prison for 16 offences against 5 victims between 1977 and 1996. So this man is a piece of trash. John Taylor, you are a piece of trash. I hope you rot. I hope you burn. I hope you suffer. The reason why people thought SmartSchoolBoy9 was behind Leanne Tiernan's case is because Leeds is about, Leeds is where Leanne went missing from and was murdered. Leeds is about an hour away by car from Doncaster and about a 53-minute train ride. So people were like, oh, it's really easy to get there from Doncaster. If you did just a simple search of her name on Google, which is free, by the way. Google is free, and so is the Wikipedia where you could have read about the case, which is usually the first thing that pops up when you Google her name. It would have told you who her killer was straight away. Not to mention, if you carried on scrolling, there are multiple articles upon articles about John Taylor, her murderer, and it explains who he is, what he's done, how much time he's currently serving. It was not hard to look at. Now, I'm not trying to sound condescending, but some of you need to use your goddamn brains. Is it smooth? Have you lost brain cells? It's not that hard, people. If you have internet access, which you clearly do if you're making these dumbass theories, you can use Google to look up the case. Like, before you go making theories, not even like just outside of SmartSchoolBoy9 stuff as well, do your goddamn research. It is so important because one, it stops you from looking like a complete idiot, and two, it's so important that you get your facts right because this theory is super insensitive to the family and friends that are still alive. Leanne may no longer be here with us, which is extremely unfortunate and tragic, but her family and friends are. And you don't know who is in that subreddit or who can see all this stuff. People could have tried to contact Leanne's family or friends for all we know to be like, hey, heard about SmartSchoolBoy9? Don't do that. Please don't do that. He has nothing to do with the case and it is extremely insensitive and just, you are a moron if you believe that. If you contact her family or friends over this, like, leave them out of it. Same with Andrew Gustin's friends and family. Leave them out of it. They have nothing to do with this. But just don't involve the family, okay? So yeah, David didn't do that. He has nothing to do with the Leanne Tiernan case. The next theory I want to discuss is thankfully a lot more lighthearted than the previous two, and it involves these pictures in the window. Now, the popular theory was that these pictures were in David's house, like in a window on David's house, and that is just false. Now, I'm not going to give you David's address because I'm not trying to get sued or like banned off the internet, well, not the internet, but YouTube particularly, for doxing someone, but David has been doxed on a certain website that I'm also not going to mention because, again, I'm not trying to get banned or sued or anything. But he has been doxed, and we all know where he lived in Doncaster. And while I'm not going to tell you, I will say it's pretty goddamn easy to find. It's not that hard to find the information, especially if you're on the Reddit or even on the Facebook page for SmartSchoolBoy9 or group. I think it's a group, not a page. If you know where he lived back in like 2007 when he was still in Doncaster, all you have to do is go on Google Maps in Street View and carry on going down, and you have to choose specifically June 2008, I think it was. Either that or 2009, but I'm pretty sure it's 2008. And if you keep going, you will see on your right a hair salon. You look at the top window, there are those pictures. So those pictures are in the top window of a hair salon, not David's house. It's down the street. It's nothing to do with him. I mean, yeah, they look pretty freaky on like Street View, but in real life, they probably didn't look that weird. Probably just like a distortion of the camera or something, I don't know. And another reason why this couldn't be where David lived is because he couldn't live above the hairdressers because that would mean he lived in a flat, and we all know he lived in a house from the videos he filmed inside that house. Yeah, that's it. They're pretty much just examples of what the hair salon can do, I guess. That's it. The next theory is that of his last name. What is David's last name? Is it truly David London? Popular last names theorized for David's last name are Alter, Walter, Gibson, London, and that's it. I mentioned earlier that he'd been doxxed, so that included his last name, his real last name, by the way. And, well, it's none of those. I'm not going to tell you what his real last name is because, again, I'm, like, saving my own ass here by not doing that. But again, it's not hard to find. And at this point, it's kind of public information. Like, if you know, you know. And it's not hard to find. I'm not encouraging you to go find it. But if you want to know, it's not hard. Again, just do research. Just look it up. Ask people. Don't ask people. Don't do that.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
But yeah, he's been doxxed, and why I'm not going to show you proof of what his last name is. You're just going to have to trust me on this one. But I'm not the only one who knows, obviously. So trust me on this one. I didn't mean to flip you off. So yeah, none of those are his real names. London is presumably like because that's where he lives now. But again, that's like alleged. We don't actually know where. I mean, I don't know where he lives right now. I know he's been doxxed, but I haven't actually seen where he currently lives. Like, I'm completely clueless. I don't know where that man is, and quite frankly, it terrifies me because I am in the same country, but hopefully I'm nowhere near him. Alter is presumably because, like, it's an alter ego. He has many alter egos. Walter, I think it's like a middle name or something. I don't know. And Gibson, I honestly don't know. I don't know where that one came from. But yeah, so none of those are his last names. And I'm sorry I can't tell you what his real last name is, but again, do your own research and I am sure you will find out. Another theory that I want to discuss is one that isn't as popular as the other theories, but one that I have seen going around and I just kind of want to explain some stuff. And that is the fact that David is involved in rituals or gets involved in ritualistic services. And in my head, that means like satanic stuff. I mean, I'm a witch. I don't know, like... And no, David, before you start trying to call me a Satanist, if you're watching this, David, this isn't a sign of Satan, contrary to popular belief. This is a pentacle, and each point of the star represents a different element: earth, water, fire, and wind. It's a protection symbol. The pentagram that you are thinking of is a star on its side, like that, without the circle. They get mixed up all the time, don't really know why. Hollywood, I presume. But yeah, this is a similar protection, by the way. So I have some sort of knowledge on rituals, and I know not all rituals are Satan sort of rituals, but when people are accusing SmartSchoolBoy9 of being involved in ritualistic stuff, I'm presuming they mean like Satan sort of rituals. And I have no evidence on that. But the guy had a very religious upbringing, and I know that again because he got doxxed. Like, if you have any like theory you're like not sure on, just try and find the info. Trying to like say things without getting executed by YouTube and laws. But yeah, if you have theories that you're not sure about and you want to know the truth too, just try and find out, research on your own, if you know what I mean. He had a very religious upbringing, and he doesn't hide this at all. In fact, he makes it pretty obvious that he is a religious person. When his Reddit account got found, which was first raspberry2495, it's gone now, don't bother looking it up. He started calling people that, but mentioned how he said, "Of Satan, I don't know any David, only the biblical one." Then on his Stephanie Schooly account, he posted, "When you consider the breakthroughs made by sound doctrine, church becomes increasingly a place of great news about lives that the Creator cares about enough to call a world of..." I don't know why I'm reading like that, I apologize. "Call out of a world of creative atheism and crises in belief. The leadership suffer of the light..." I can't read this shit. Does anyone else struggle reading his statuses? But basically, it's just a load of religious babble. And then on one of his Stephanie Schooly photos, he says, "Saturday Beach Church, and it is important for church children to look smart." And then back in September, Stephanie, mentioned, "I've enjoyed this year's youth summer camp, and now I'm back at school, and I'm also looking forward to the Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement, Feast of Tabernacles, and the last great day of festivals." And then she goes on to mention biblical festivals, the New Testament, stuff like that. And then in January 2023, she posted how she went to Sydney, Australia for a church service and youth meeting. And then in the comments section on Facebook, I don't remember the post, but someone replied to him in the comments saying, "David London, I will drop kick your grandma." In which David responded, "Hulk Hogan, no you won't. She is shielded and of outstanding strength through Jesus Christ." I don't know what that's got to do with drop kicking. I don't think Jesus can stop you from drop kicking someone's nan, but you know, typical British behaviour there, by the way. And then in a letters from our readers section on one of his local churches, someone put, "Public notice. South Yorkshire Police advise that any requests for money from David Alter, also known as David Stansfield Alter, of Doncaster, England, should be ignored." What are you doing at those churches, David? What the hell did you do that the church doesn't want your money? And just quickly linking back to the Feast of Tabernacles mentioned from Stephanie, in a voice message from David sent to someone on Reddit, well, it was sent through Facebook, but it was a Reddit user who posted it, he mentions the Feast of Tabernacles, just further proves that you are Stephanie, David. Oh.
Also, just to conclude, it is the Feast of Tabernacles in God's church, and that's why Satan has used you to make stupid allegations. Satan has used you to text complete strangers. Why would you do that for people who are keeping God's feasts faithfully? Do not have any contact with strangers and make silly allegations. It makes you look like some sort of satanic predator. Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Eh?
Do not do that. I accept you've made a mistake. My detective colleagues also accept that you've made a mistake, providing you stop messaging people.
Imagine you were possessed by Satan, and the first thing he did was possess you to talk to strangers on the internet. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was Satan and I was so-called an evil person or thing or whatever, I wouldn't possess people to talk to strangers on the internet. What the hell, David? Bro is reaching on that one. Like, David, come on now. Anyway, moving on. The next theory I want to discuss is that David has an ex-wife. Now, don't worry, I thought the same thing that you're probably thinking right now. If David has a wife, or had a wife, should I say, then goddamn, I actually stand a chance. And I'm sorry, as soon as I heard that he supposedly had an ex-wife, I was just like, no, that man does not have an ex-wife. He just doesn't. No. Like, someone made the point that people like Ted Bundy have been able to lead normal lives, you know, like living two lives, one where they are and live out their serial killer fantasies, and then the other one where they like present themselves as a normal family man. David's just too weird, man. I'm not saying that isn't true, because yeah, that is a fairly good point, but have you seen David? He's not even attractive. And his personality is dog shit. I mean, which personality are you going to marry anyway? David, Stephanie, Miles, Teresa, Joanna, the detective? Like, who's married? But yeah, basically, someone got in contact with this account called Stephanie Gibson Alter on Facebook, and she claimed to be David's ex-wife and gave this whole sob story. And the person who messaged her did kind of believe it. And I'm not going to call this person names because, you know, some people are more gullible than others, or, you know, sympathy is a big thing. And maybe they wanted to believe that this was true because, you know, if it wasn't, that's horrible. Like, you know, it's said that that sort of stuff's happened, but it was false. Why do I know that? Because David himself said so. Stephanie commented just a laughing emoji, in which someone replied, Stephanie Gibson Alter, bro, STFU. Stephanie replied, you're very rude. I used to be David's wife. Since you're so rude for no reason, I won't be telling you anything if you wanted to know. Bye. Kissy emoji. So, like, she was bragging that she had information that she could share with people, but was, like, withholding it and stuff. So it was pretty fishy from the start. And Stephanie made a post, but I don't remember what the post said, but someone commented under that post, hey, David, I'm a huge fan. Please reply to me, thinking that Stephanie was actually David. Stephanie replied, wish I was him to know what is going on inside his head. I used to be his wife. That person then replied, I said hey because I thought yous were together. What? Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Then David replied, no, you weren't, you fantasist. The shit was that? And then David replied to the other person saying David was never married, at least not to the fantasist with the fake name. Stephanie Gibson Alter actually made David crawl out of the woodworks and confirmed that he is in fact not married, never was, at least not to this person. And honestly, I'm gonna say it's a safe bet to presume he's never been married. But yeah, the fact that he came out and confirmed this himself, that he wasn't married, is just like, that's so funny, man. I found it really funny in all honesty, but yeah, Stephanie Gibson Alter was just another troll account. The next theory debates how David makes the images. You know those horrific, nightmare fuel, nightmare-inducing images of children that he posts to his channel? Those pictures that he posts or posted to his Instagram and posts to the Stephanie Schooly account. No one's 100% sure how he makes these photos. There's like three theories. One is that he edits them himself using some sort of editing app. The other is that he uses purely AI, and the other is that it's a mix of the two. Now, I don't know about those two, but I know for a fact that he doesn't purely use AI, at least not with all his images. And I say that because people have found the original images of these children online that he has edited. This picture that I'm showing you right now, the original photo has been found. I am blurring out the people's faces involved because care about people's privacy, even though it is public at this point. You know, I'd rather not add on to that. But yeah, this photo has been found, the original photo, and the school in which this photo came from has been informed, so don't worry, they are aware. Lots of these pictures of Stephanie, the photos have been found. It's a Japanese clothing company for kids, I believe, could be wrong, and these are just people modeling it, the clothes, and they've been turned into this horrific adaptation of Stephanie. Yay. The shit that happens to you when you put your face on the internet is insane. Please don't make me look like that. I swear to God, I will find you. Not to mention, there was an instance where the person who's, or should I say the child, because it is very important that she was a child at the time. David had an alter called Joanna Tang, or Joanne Tang, I can't remember if it's Joanna or Joanne. And the girl that he used for these photos actually came forward on Reddit and expressed how he does not have her consent, and that is her in the photos, and that she wants to go to the police. Now, I don't know if anything ever came of that as far as I'm aware. We haven't heard online or anything. What's going on in person, I don't know. There are even a few photos comparing her original photos to David's photos. And again, I'm going to blur out her face for her own like privacy and safety and stuff, because while I believe she is of legal age now, she was a child in these pictures, and I would rather not do that to her, you know? I know all this is public and it's not that hard to find these images that I'm like censoring, but personally I'd rather just not add fuel to the fire, you know? The fact that these original pictures exist proves that it's not entirely AI that he uses. Personally, I believe that he just edits these pictures, like there's no AI involved, apart from when he makes the pictures move. Like, yeah, that is most likely AI, but when it comes to just editing the pictures to make them look like that, I think he just edits them because it's theorized that he uses Pixar, and I use Pixar myself. And while I haven't edited anything as horrific as he has, I have made some interesting edits because I like to terrify and annoy my friends and family. It is possible to make absolutely insane edits on Pixar, especially if you have the membership thing on there. I don't, because there's too much things to pay money for these days. Even with the free version, you can do a decent job, so. But yeah, it's not purely AI, but if someone turned around and told me that he did partially use AI for these images, I wouldn't be like surprised. Like, I could believe that. So while I'm not entirely debunking that one, I just wanted to put that information out there and see what anyone else has to say about that, because I'm not entirely familiar with AI. I'm not a massive fan of it. I don't really use it. So yeah, if you know anything about that, let me know in the comments down below. But other than that, I don't really think he uses it. Again, not to edit his photos. Anything else, I don't know. But just to edit his photos, I don't think so. The next theory makes my brain feel like it's losing wrinkles by the second and it's going to go smooth at any minute. And that is that David is in the USA. Where did this theory even come from? Is it because he mentions Chicago in his songs quite a lot? Yes, David has songs, if you didn't know. They are awful.
It's your first time in Chicago.
But Running Tram kind of slaps, I'm not gonna lie.
Running tram.
Like, in a really shitty way. Like, it's so bad that it kind of slaps. Like, in an ironic kind of, I don't know. Where did it come from? Was it just because he says Chicago in his songs or something? I don't have any solid proof that he is or isn't in the USA, but I'm going to say that he isn't. If the guy is on benefits alone, just benefits, he cannot afford to move to the USA, buy a house. Like, you're asking too much of him. Not to mention, if he moved over to the USA, he would lose all of his benefits and have to reapply. He's not going to do that. So it's most likely, I'm going to say he's like 99% still in the UK. I fully believe he's still in the UK. He's just not in the USA. Yes, thanks to the doxing, we have seen that he has family over there, but they want nothing to do with him. And I believe some of them don't even know they're related to him, let alone what he's been doing on the internet these past few years. So yeah, and obviously take this next part with a grain of salt. But in a message to someone on Facebook, David has said, while claiming to be a detective, that I'm working in Newcastle, I'm not in Doncaster, so your fiction and fantasy is of no use to anyone. Sorry, Newcastle. In a voice message, he says,
We don't know you, and we don't know why you're texting detectives, so we ask that you don't do that. Thank you.
I don't know you, and I don't know why you're texting detectives, but we ask that you don't do that. Shut up, David. I showed you that audio clip because he's trying his absolute best to do a Newcastle accent. So yeah, he's trying to play into the fact that he lives in Newcastle, and while I highly doubt he lives in Newcastle, it kind of proves that he's still in the UK. But again, take that with a grain of salt because we can't trust anything David says. I don't believe he's in Newcastle because why the hell would you tell everyone where you live when you're literally at the center of a big witch hunt on the internet? People are looking for where you live, they've found where you used to live and have thrown bricks through the window. Why would you tell people where you live now, David? See what I mean? So he's most likely not in Newcastle, but he's not denying that he's in the UK. And that's my take on that. I believe he's in the UK. I don't believe he's in the USA. And specifically England, because again, I believe if he went to Wales, Ireland, or Scotland, he'd have to reapply for his benefits because they are different countries. So I highly doubt he's going to do it. It's just a lot of effort on his end and doesn't seem like the type of guy to put in a lot of effort in that respect. With my last theory, I mentioned the Running Tram song, and I just want to quickly mention that there was the whole theory that he said lemon and lich instead of lemon and lime. Like, I can't physically prove this to you because I didn't write the song and he hasn't actually released any official lyrics. David, please do it to put this goddamn theory to rest. But he quite clearly, to me anyway, says lemon and lime, but in the background he is sort of like beatboxing, and as he says lime, he goes ch. So people are saying he's saying leech, but it's not pronounced leech, it's pronounced lich. Like, the people are saying he's saying lich, which means like death or something. I can't remember the exact meaning, what it means. They're saying it means that, and if they're meaning that meaning, then it's not even pronounced leech, it's pronounced lich. Have you never seen Adventure Time?
Lich.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's saying leech. I think he's saying lime. And I think saying otherwise is a pretty big reach.
I think I like a little lemon and lime. I think I like a little lemon and lime.
Moving on to the next theory, David is a detective. It's not actually like a theory, to be honest. It's more of like, David said this, so now people are scared. And like, I do want to just put people's minds at ease because this just genuinely worry people. Like, a lot of people on Reddit are assholes, and like, I know that's just Reddit, so you know, Reddit. I'm on Reddit myself, so I've seen it. And a lot of people in the Facebook group for SmartSchoolBoy9 are assholes as well. You can be like the sweetest person in there, and they will tear you down if you say something like incorrect or like innocently asking a question. Like, I get that you're tired of people asking the same questions, but bro, it doesn't cost to be nice. Maybe I'm just too sensitive, I don't know. So yeah, I just kind of want to mention this for you, those of you who are more like gullible to those sort of things or are more like anxious and tend to overthink and overworry. But I am happy to say that no, David is not a detective, and while again I do not have solid evidence of that in the nicest way possible, it's just pretty damn obvious. To be a policeman or policewoman, you have to go through quite a bit of training. There's things that you have, tests that you have to pass, and you have to be like physically fit to some extent, stuff like that, mentally well as well. And while I'm not sure how being a detective works, I can safely presume that it requires the same amount of effort, if not more, to be a detective. And David is clearly mentally unwell. They're not going to let someone as mentally unwell as him be a detective. That would just be asking for the goddamn worst thing to happen on their end, so highly doubt it. Not to mention that in a few screenshots shown of conversations with people, David has insulted them numerous times, and a detective just simply wouldn't insult someone like that. That could cost him his job, whether it's a suspension or he gets fired. You can't insult people like that if you're a detective, like, or in any workplace really. But to say, hey, I'm a detective and you're this insult, you have to have some sort of professionalism about you when you do that kind of job. Another point I want to bring up is that in these conversations, sometimes David accuses people of being a nonce, a PDF file, if you will. David, my guy, you're going to want to sit down when you hear this. You are not a real detective, and I will tell you why. A real detective would not call someone a PDF file and then do nothing about it. If you, a real detective, truly thought that someone was a PDF file, a danger to children, you would initiate an investigation. If not initiate it, you know, put it in place somewhere, suggest it to someone else, a higher up, put them under watch. You wouldn't just be like, well, you know, me and my colleagues have discussed it and we truly believe that you've made a mistake, so as long as you stop messaging me and stay away from children, it's fine. Really, David? Really? You being a detective is almost as convincing as you being a 9-year-old schoolboy or an 11, 13-year-old schoolgirl. Not convincing at all. Do better, piece of shit. Yeah, I'm just gonna show you some voice messages as well, because honestly, if this guy truly was a detective, he should be fired because his unprofessionalism is astounding.
Hello there, I understand that you have some wrong information, but I've got some information on you. You have described yourself as some sort of pedophile. Certainly you should not be texting strangers, because I have worked and do work at detective level. So I don't like pedophiles. I don't know what or who you are, but I ask you not to harass people or lie about yourself being in law enforcement. That is not true, and you should not be lying to someone who has experience of your sort. Please do not message again, and certainly do not talk about young school children, because the young schoolboy, young smart school kid 9, that is a young boy. It isn't me, so stop trying to pretend that it is me. Is that clear? Thank you very much. Right, so you've received that message because your ugly little face has showed up as being having seen it. You know what I mean. So do not make stupid accusations and assertions about people, because you are a predator and you do not look like someone who could be trusted. Don't make any further comments. It is worthless. You have made some mistake. I accept, and my friends at detective level do accept that you've made some mistake, because you're probably drinking whatever it is you're into, and certainly, please do not make stupid suggestions and suppositions. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Good night.
Hi, I've reported you to the police for stalking. You got the wrong person, so they don't know who you are. So, bye.
The next theory is that this picture right here of this person with makeup on their face is David. Now, when I first saw this, I will admit, I kind of believed it was David. Like, it kind of has a resemblance of him. But when you reverse search the image, it takes you to a website called Kapuk. I don't know why I said it like that. Kapuk. It takes you to Kapuk. Kapuk is a website from Thailand that is an online marketing agency offering advertising and public relations services on a website. Didn't know that was a thing. And while I couldn't actually find this myself when I reverse image searched it for this video, when you did it in the past, it actually took you as well to another link. There was two links, the Kapuk one and the one from a Russian website, which was basically about makeup fails, if I remember correctly. If it's David, why is he on a Russian website and why is he on Kapuk? You know what I mean? Again, no solid evidence that it isn't him, but I highly doubt it is him, because also if that is him, well, the makeup isn't that great. That is so good for David's standards. Like, you've seen his makeup. You've seen his SmartSchoolBoy9 makeup. That makeup is way too good for David. And finally, our last theory of the video. David has a cult. Yeah. It was discovered that David was a part of a Facebook group on Facebook called Beaufoy School or something. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. The group got overrun with trolls and idiots and people like me who were just genuinely interested in seeing if David was posting anything or interacting with any posts. But the group got so out of hand with the trolls that some people decided to make a whole new Beaufoy School group, and none of them went to the school. It was purely just to lure David into a trap, I presume. And this group is what people are calling David's cult. I don't personally believe it's a cult. And in fact, one of the admins, which I will give people's first names, not their last names, because this is, again, public stuff. And if you are on Facebook and in the SmartSchoolBoy9 stuff, you've seen these people, you know who they are. But one of the admins for this Beaufoy School group, the new one page, put, "Hello everyone, just a PSA for all the members, including any new members who may join. This is not some kind of cult of David group, contrary to popular belief. It's for Beaufoy School, posting about Beaufoy and so on. Yes, Stephanie Schooly did join, but that's nothing to do with it, as neither has she. She's just interested in the school like we are, as far as I can tell. Nothing dodgy or weird is going on. I am not sure why people think it's a cult of all things. They must imagine us praying to a shrine of David nightly and reading his poems as some sort of religious text, singing his songs as hymns. That's not the situation, but it's pretty funny." Now, I will say, I don't think they're lying about not being a cult of David. I think it's just pretty obvious they're not a cult. But I can understand why people would assume that, given their behaviour towards David and Stephanie. For example, one of the admins comment, "I wish everyone would stop harassing Stephanie. What did she ever do to any of you except exist?" Someone else commented in reply to Stephanie, "You're doing everything right. Just enjoy your day in biblical festival. As for all the haters, they'll get what's coming to them for their sins and ignorance. Keep going, sweet girl." Anastasia then replied to Stephanie, "You are a very wise and beautiful girl. Either she's blind or she's lying, because how can you look at this and say it's beautiful? Girl, come on." Other examples include anonymous member in Beaufoy School saying, "Stephanie Schooly is cute." Stephanie comments, "Thank you." This person, I am censoring their first name because I don't know if it's their real name, but the last name isn't their real name. So I'm just going to call them Schooly, because they clearly need some sort of help too. And they actually idolize Stephanie, which we will get onto in a minute. And they replied, "Oh, you commented. It's cute." Angie replied with, "I agree with Anon. You're such a beautiful young lady." Again, Angie, are you blind? To be fair, I'm pretty sure Angie commented made a post or something saying that everything she did in these groups was satire, which if so, fair enough, but you are scarily close to this so-called cult the way you are acting, so careful, Angie. Not to mention, he's got numerous pieces of fan art. Come on, guys. Like, yeah, I know that's not in the Bufoy group, but it's still weird behavior. Like, even if it's a joke, you know, an artist myself, I don't go out my way and draw Jimmy Savile. I don't go out of my way and draw Jeffrey Epstein, you know? Like, if it was a joke, maybe draw jokey art, not like serious shit. Like, some of the art's actually pretty good. Put your talent elsewhere. And then this Schooly person whose first name I'm going to censor. If you go to her page, most of her like posts are about David. It is quite weird. For example, one reads, "People who insult me, David, SmartSchoolBoy9, and Stephanie, so weird. Why are you doing this? I've seen posts here, Facebook, and on Reddit. Why you write such things? I'm just proving the truth to people. I'm not writing anything bad, because people write too much misinformation and believe lies. I just wanted to help. SmartSchoolBoy9 and Stephanie are real kids." Why do people think otherwise? David London has nothing to do with them and he's just telling the truth. Stop believing lies and rumors. I don't know if this is just like a cry for attention or something, or if she just really wants to get noticed by David, but bullshit, Schooly, bullshit. You really think those are kids? In what world do kids look like that? She then says, "Please leave SmartSchoolBoy9 alone. He's just a young boy. Why are they telling lies about him? He's only 9 years old. I hope they won't hate him anymore because he's just an innocent child." And as you can see here, there are like 3 statuses where she has put things like, "Stephanie Schooly, I love you so much. I'm your big fan. I wish you noticed me. Please get some therapy." I don't know why I'm singing. "I love you, Stephanie. You are the best. I love your advice and photos. Hello, I want to say that I'm a very big fan of SmartSchoolBoy9. I wish he would notice me. He closed his private messages. I do not know how to write to him, contact him. This is my dream. Dream bigger, kid. Dream bigger. I want to say that he is the best, and he is the only person for whom I am so fan and in love with. I know that he will never notice me and all these are stupid dreams, but still." Now, I'm not going to attack this person because I think they're like a minor, or at least severely unwell, and if you are watching this, you know who you are, and if you are watching this, I just want to say, I'm not attacking you. I just want you to get some help. I'm bringing this to people's attentions because this is not right. This is not normal behavior. If you truly think that those are children, if you idolize David and want him to notice you, you need mental help. And I don't know how much more I can stress that. But yeah, that's also just all adds to David's so-called cult, except she's more convincing of being a part of a cult, but she's not, because there is no cult. And while I don't have the receipts for this, I also just want to say that I think it was Paige. People have accused the Darling Charming account and the Veronica account of being David, and she and many others, Paige and many others, have said that they're not. They're friends with Paige and they speak and they're normal people. And why do I believe this? Because one of them mentioned somewhere that this was all a ploy to get David to trust them and open up to them. And I fully believe that, because why else would you act so insane? By insane, I mean, you know, calling Stephanie a real girl, calling her cute when she looks like this. Stuff like that. I do genuinely think this is just their idea to try and get Stephanie, David to trust them, open up to them, and get some dirt on him, you know? That's why I don't believe that they're a cult. I truly believe that they're just trying to get David to lower his walls down around them and trust him so they can get more information out of him, which in some respects is smart. It's just a shame that this thing is so public that other people are ruining it or trying to get involved. And to be honest, it's kind of a shame that you posted that you're doing that, because he is active in the Reddit and he has probably seen it, which is probably why he's not really interacting there anymore. One last thing that I just want to say regarding the whole, like, detective thing. Another worry people have had is that he says he contacts the police if you message him. He does not. Why do I know this? I don't know it, but I am presuming because it would be too much hassle for him and it would draw way too much attention to him, and just there's nothing he can do really, because or the police. There's nothing really that the police can do because he's the one who keeps opening up his messenger so people can message him instead of leaving it locked all the time because he wants the attention. He likes the attention. Why do you think he keeps making a reappearance every now and then? It's so the attention is back on him because he loves it. We're giving him exactly what he wants. And finally, I just want to say, please leave his family alone. Because yeah, I know I've said it a million times, but he has been doxxed and now we know his family's names and stuff. Even those that don't live over here and live in like America and stuff, just leave them out of it. They want nothing to do with him. Some of them don't even know him, I believe, and like if they don't want anything to do with him, what makes you think they have anything to say about him? Just please leave his family out of this. They don't deserve to be involved in this mess. They probably don't even want to, well, they don't want to be involved in it. Leave them alone because they are being harassed and it's not fair. I can't imagine being how his family must feel right now, being dragged into this shit show, because I certainly wouldn't want to be dragged into it if I were his family member. Also, David has denied having certain family members. Bullshit. Don't listen to a word David says unless it's debunking shit like not having a wife, because well, that's just believable, isn't it? Who's gonna believe that he had a wife? Who's gonna believe that that guy got married? But yeah, that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end if you did. If you enjoyed it, please maybe give me a like, maybe subscribe if you want to, and don't forget to leave a comment down below letting me know whether or not you agree with what I have said on these theories. Though if you try to deny the ones that I have actual evidence for, then like, get out of here, bro. Let me know if you have any sort of advice for, or like criticism for me going forward with videos, because I would like to continue doing stuff like this. Do you think I need to tone down the sarcasm? Would you like more of it? Do I need to stop moving around? Would you rather I not hold the microphone and keep it here? I don't know. Would you like me to learn where to look because I keep looking here instead of here? Let me know down below. And hopefully I will see you guys soon. I mean, I'm sure I will, but it probably won't be SmartSchoolBoy9 related unless you want another video, because I can do another video if you really want to. Maybe do a deep dive on this so-called cult and see if any of them will want to take part in a video to let me understand their mindset on why they admire David so much. Let me know. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Stay spooky, my fellow detectives. Please don't actually think I seriously consider myself a detective. I am not. I am nothing like David. I know I'm not a detective. I just like theories and internet mysteries and weird shit like that. Bye. Bye.